Okay, I think we're ready now. My name is Corey. I am the Director of Client Services for Feature FM, and today we'll be sort of walking through the changes that Facebook made to Business Manager in response to the iOS 14 changes that Apple instated. We'll walk through how the process of how to set up a custom domain with Feature FM for all account tiers, everybody from artist to pro marketer, and then I'll show you sort of on the platform visually like how that is set up. And we also have our Chief Commercial Officer Dan on the call as well to answer additional questions or sort of provide context. So I think to get started, the first place that we should start is sort of what the changes are and how they affect conversion events and remarketing. So as we all know, Apple instituted these iOS 14 changes. The way that these affect our platform in particular and sort of the usage for all of our users. This wasn't something that we obviously did. It was a result of iOS making changes and Facebook having to catch up to it. So I sort of want to clear that part of it up because that's a question that comes up a lot. Currently, they have instated these. Sometimes they are sometimes people go to run ads, they're able to. Sometimes people go to run ads one day and the next day they're turned off, but essentially this is generally why. So the part of this that to understand is the things that will be affected are conversion events, remarketing audiences, and how that is set up with your Feature FM account. So there are a few things to cover first. One is that the way that we're handling this situation is to give everybody with certain levels of subscription free domain to use. The reason we're doing that is because we want you to have the ability to verify your domains through your Facebook Business Manager and also have some type of like custom branding for the links that you're going to be sharing across your artists, your roster, or your label, whatever the case may be. So the first thing to note is that the attribution window, which is essentially the time frame in which you collect data, right? So if you have a Feature FM account right now and you're using conversion events or you're using remarketing audiences, the time limit for that gap with these changes has shrunk to be 28 days. So what that means is that when you go in to go create an ad and optimize it for conversions, or if you're using a remarketing audience, the window has actually been shrunk to 28 days. So you won't have the like 180 months or whatever you had previously. Moving forward, it'll just be 28 days, which is sort of crucial if you're using links to think about how you're structuring ad campaigns that way. The other thing is that in Facebook, there seems to be some type of confusion between conversion events and parameters. So for us, we have 12 data parameters that we currently offer through our platform. Those are now limited per pixel per domain that you have verified to just 8. So it's no longer, you don't any longer have like the free range to do like 12 and collect a whole bunch of data points. You have to sort of narrow it down to 8. And we have articles on that within our platform on our FAQ. So let me just pull that up really fast so you guys can sort of see what that looks like. This is our this was our help center. Hold on one second. Let me just go back to our website and get this set up. So our FAQs on the homepage, we do have a list of data parameters, and we'll include this in a follow-up to this email. But these are the parameters that we currently track and keep track of. So these will no longer be this many. You'll have to just use 8. And this was a limitation set by Facebook as a result of the iOS changes. So this wasn't something that we instituted. Technically, we collect all of this, and you have the right through Facebook to set whatever conversion events that you want to keep track of. So this list will also send in a follow-up email, but just want to clarify those points at the top of this. So as many of you probably have gotten, if you're here, we sent out a form for everybody to fill out, and you'll fall into either one of two buckets. So let's start with one bucket of users. So the users that have an enterprise account, a pro marketer account, a marketer annual, or a pro artist annual, you'll be able to use a custom domain at no cost. It's included with your plan, and all you have to do is fill out this form. So we have sent these forms to all of the users. If you haven't received one for any reason, just feel free to put your question or email in the comments in the chat section, and we'll get you the right one based on your user tier. But there's a few steps that we need from you to process these custom domains. We process them every Wednesday. So if you submit a request on the day of Wednesday, we won't get to it till the following Wednesday. So it's crucial that you make sure that you submit all the data that you need on Tuesdays. You also do want to make sure that you bake in time for when you purchase a domain and then you point the name servers. So the first step that you need to do is decide what domain you want to use. It could be any domain that you want. It's completely up to you. It's not something that we're obviously placing a limitation on. It just needs to meet two criteria. One, you can point the name servers of the domain to our name servers, which are listed here in the form. And you also need to not use it for any other purpose. So that means it can't be associated with a website or email addresses or anything like that. It has to solely be used for Feature FM links. And that sort of indicates the first point, which is you need to be able to point the name servers to ours, which means it will be able to add it to your account and you'll be able to create subdomains as you do currently. So that's the first step. The second step is to make sure that you've pointed these, and then when you fill out this form, you actually have to confirm that you've done both of these things, that your domain will only be used for Feature FM, and that you've pointed the name servers. So you may be asking yourself, what the heck are name servers? So name servers are, and we have FAQ articles here for the three most popular domain registrars, which is where you could buy domains that we've come across with most of our users. But the name servers are sort of where the domain is hosted. So generally what those look like, and I've screen shared my personal account so you guys can sort of find one. What you would do, this is Namecheap. So if you are a Namecheap user, you can just follow these steps. But what you'll want to do is you'll want to get the domain purchased on GoDaddy or Namecheap or wherever your preferred registrar is. You can also use domains that you already have, but they're not in use for anything. You don't have to go out and buy a new one. So I do want to note that. What you'll do is you'll come to the domain in your account on the dashboard homepage, and you'll just select one that you want to use. So you'll go to manage, and you'll see here that you have what they call basic. Generally, when you buy a domain, they'll have basic DNS settings. DNS is exactly where you want to be. So just want to make sure all this is filled out. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go in here, and if you've bought the domain on Namecheap, you can follow this step by step. What you'll want to do is click on the domain name, click on custom DNS, and then you see here how it has name servers. What you would do is you would add 4 here, and then you would just copy and paste them from this form. That's all you have to do. So all you do is you do this, point the name server in 1, and make sure to follow this order too. They're listed in the order that you should point them. And then you would just put them all in here, and once you were done, you would just click save. Or I think it actually just resolves by itself. But once you do that, you would just click on this little icon and click save. So that's what you would do for Namecheap. GoDaddy and Network Solutions have the same type of setup. Their dashboards are just slightly different, but that is what is meant when it says we need you to point the name servers for your custom domain. So hopefully that helps clear up that point. So in the form, you'll fill in all this stuff, and then you'll select the tier that you have, put in the domain you want to use, and then this is a text. This is the second part of this is that in Facebook Business Manager, you'll actually need to provide us with a text record. We do have a video showing how to do this, so that's already set up for you. And all you need to do is just copy and paste that from your Facebook Business Manager into this field. And then you just click both of these buttons and save. The second part of this that other users might fall into is that they don't have this subscription level. And for that, you actually have a separate form. So this is the form that you were sent. And again, if you don't have either of these links, just let us know and we'll send it to you. But you have the option of 2 things. You can do a custom domain package, which is just you'll be able to use a custom domain. It's just a $10 a month charge on top of your subscription that you have now. We also offer custom branding, which allows you to use the custom domain, but we can also customize your landing pages, all of them, with favicon, which is like this little icon that lives in a browser, as well as a clickable logo that sort of lives underneath the title of the release. And then you would just follow the same steps here once you've decided which option you want to go with. And you would point the name servers like I just showed you for the domain registrar that you have, as well as filling in the text record. And again, we have a video demo of where that is within Facebook Business Manager. Those are sort of the first steps of the process for using the custom domain. The second would be just sort of to wait till it's added to your account, and then you'll be able to use that within your account. Dan, did you have anything else to elaborate on that process?
Hey, sorry. Hey, everybody. The only other piece that I wanted to add was you can actually access the custom domain request form directly inside of your dashboard. So if you log into Feature FM and you click the little chat icon in the bottom right, if you're eligible, you'll be able to see a link directly to your respective form by logging into your Feature FM account.
And that is why he's the chief commercial officer. I think what would be the next thing that we should go over? Maybe like how to do the text verification in Facebook Business Manager. Would that be probably the next good one? I think I can do that myself. So just to sort of do a walkthrough, I know that we have a video of it, but some people will ask how to do the Facebook Business Manager. So this is how you do it. This is what your homepage will look like in Business Manager in case anybody hasn't set one up. And what you'll do is this will be like the homepage once you click into your account. You may not have more than one account, so it might just take you here. But where you'll click is Business Settings. And then you'll go down here to Brand Safety. I think it's the fourth. Yeah, it's like the fourth one down. You'll expand this, and then you'll click on Domains. So I added an example here just to sort of show you what it looks like, but you just click Add, and then you'll put in the domain name. This will be the custom domain that you select to fill in the form. So that's what you'll put in here, and then you'll click Add Domain, and that will be the next step to complete the text record. This right here is the text record that you can just copy.
Hey, Corey, sorry, I'm just jumping in here. Your screen share seems to be showing the form right now and not Facebook Business Manager.
Let me go back. That is perfect. Of course, that's where it's sharing. Sorry, guys. I'm in Google Chrome. That's why. Sorry about that, guys. 1 second. Okay, perfect. All right, so where we'll need to go, sorry about that. I just assume when you press share that it will work. So what we'll do is let's start this again. This is a Business Manager home. If you don't have more than one account, then it will probably just default to whatever one that you have. And you'll click in. This is like the home page. You'll click on Business Settings right here on the left-hand side. And then it'll be fourth one down, Brand Safety right here. And you'll click on Domains. And then this is what it's looked like after you've clicked the add button up here. So you just click add and then put in the domain that you selected for your custom domain. And then you'll click add domain and it'll give you this right here. So you would grab this, it'll say add this text record in your DNS configuration. You just click on it and it'll copy to your clipboard and you just put that in the field that says what is the text record on Facebook Business Manager. You just copy and paste it. And for anybody that has a question about like pixels, I'm assuming that you already have a pixel if you're using this feature. If you don't, you would just go back. Go back, come on, there we go. Events Manager. And this is, seriously, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons, but this is where you would find your pixel. The pixel ID would be right here, which you can just copy to your clipboard and put into your Feature FM account, which would be here. 1 second, just logging in. Go up to General Settings. And if you don't have a pixel, you would go to Default Link Settings and just copy and paste it right here. And then this would be your pixel that you would use. that's associated with your business manager. And I think that's pretty much it for that step. Dan, is there anything else on the setup side that we should cover?
No, I think that makes sense for the setup process.
Okay. So the next part of it that a lot of people have been having questions about is sort of where the where the custom domain lives. So let's say that you've already filled out the form successfully, you've pointed the name servers, you got the text record, your pixel's all set up. The next part is going to be sort of where does that domain live, right? Like that'll be the question. Where is it going to be? Where's it going to be assigned to? So it'll actually show up in this section right here, which is just to sort of recap, just click on general settings. Actually, just click on default link settings on the top right of the account. And excuse me, it'll be right here. It'll show up as the default option. And depending on your account type, you'll be able to create subdomains. So for pro artist annual users, you'll just have the custom domain. You won't be able to create subdomains off of that. But for marketer annual, pro marketer, enterprise, or anybody that has those levels, you'll be able to create subdomains exactly the same as the process it is now. The only difference will be is that this will be your custom domain, not ffm.to. I think that's sort of it on my end, sort of how this is set up, how it runs, how to create a pixel. With Facebook, the changes haven't taken effect for Google Ads yet, but that is going to happen because Apple didn't just relegate it to Facebook. It's across all of the internet, which is wonderful. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, I suppose we could just answer them.
Hey, this is Dan jumping back in. I see a number of questions that are related to kind of the same issue or the same question. So I'm hoping I can add some clarity around that. So a couple of sort of common threads I see in the questions are just around, what if I have multiple artists? Do I need to set up a different custom domain for every single artist? How does that work? If I have different artists that want to, have access to certain domains and kind of manage it themselves, what do I do? And there's also one question about, can I just set up, a subdomain on my existing domain? So I'll explain a little bit, and I hope this helps kind of add some clarity and answer those questions. So the best practice typically is, first you should have just one dedicated root domain that you dedicate only for your Feature FM landing pages versus just, using a subdomain like off of your artist site. The reason for that is, first you want to be able to, optimize all 8 of your events, on that domain, and you don't want to sort of cross it with events you might be getting to your website because Facebook only lets you choose 8 conversion events total. So if you're using both your website for your website purposes and for Feature FM purposes, it'll really limit your ability to use those, those conversion events. The other reason is that, as Corey had mentioned, Feature FM supports the ability for you to actually create subdomains on your full domains. So what that means is that if you have a custom domain and then that custom domain gets added to your Feature FM account, you can actually create subdomains for that domain directly inside of Feature FM. So once it's added, the same way you can create a subdomain for your ffm.to, you can create a subdomain for your actual domain. So if you want to use a branded type of URL for each of your artists, that would be the best practice. The same way you would do it on your ffm.to and create a subdomain for each artist, you would do the same thing for your custom domain. That means that all you have to do from a verification standpoint is in Facebook, you only have to verify your root domain, and then you can create as many subdomains as you want from that root domain, and you don't have to verify every single root domain. If you do want to add multiple full domains in Feature FM, that's something you would have to reach out to us about, as we do have sort of different options for if you want like a group of full domains added. But the best practice, would really be create a dedicated full domain that you're going to use only for your Feature FM landing pages, get it added to your Feature FM account, and then you can create subdomains on that. The subdomains are still following the same, limitations of each plan. So depending on your plan, there's a certain number of subdomains you can create. Follows the same rules, but generally you can create those subdomains on your full domains, and that would take care of being able to allocate different branded URLs for different artists and still take advantage of all of the the retargeting data. So I hope that answered. I just want to go through these questions and make sure that I thoroughly answered. So that should answer, how do I set up a custom domain? Well, that one I didn't answer. If I'm creating primary URL, so that should answer this. Done. Artist labels. Yeah, again, so I think to one of the questions about related to that topic, but about, do we, for artists and labels who are in our account and want their own domains, can we just send them the form and the how-to? So again, if somebody wants to use their own full domain, they would either have to have their own Feature FM account, or if you are, if it's your Feature FM account and you have labels or artists using it on behalf of your account, and you want them to each have their own full domain, then we would have to set up a package for you to have multiple full domains in your account that they can use. So those would really be the two ways to have multiple full domains inside of Feature FM. What if someone has already verified my root domain in their business manager? Do I have to use a different root domain? So yes, if you go to verify your domain in Facebook and it says that this domain has been verified by another user, then yes, it would seem that somebody else somehow, if there's somebody else that has access to your domain or another account, that means somebody else has already verified your domain in their Facebook Business Manager account. Hopefully you know who that would be and you can reach out to them and talk to them about it. Unfortunately, that the verification in Facebook itself is separate from us. So yeah, so that would be my recommendation. Either create a different domain that you want to use for Feature FM. If you know the person that could have verified your domain in Facebook separately, then you'll probably just want to reach out to them and make sure that the right business manager account has the right verification for your domains. How do I set a custom domain for my artist if my artist's Feature FM page is within a Feature FM account owned by our distributor? That's a good question. I guess I would need to understand more. Is this distributor, are you accessing your, like, I would need to know sort of how is it set up with a distributor? Is it a distributor that you access these services inside of the distributor dashboard, or is it inside of their actual Feature FM account, or are they really just creating these pages and giving them to you to be able to use? We have different ways that different distributors are structured. So for the person that asked that question, I would recommend to please reach out to client services at feature.fm, and we can help identify more about your specific situation and how to answer that. So I'll send you a note right now. Please reach out to. So for the person that asked that, then how effective is the Feature FM branding? How effective is Feature FM in branding an artist? Do you have a radio? It's a little bit off topic for this webinar. Again, I would recommend for DJ Immortal to please reach out and we will be sure to get you more information just about the overall services and how we help artists with branding, with promotion, with radio, with marketing. That'll help get you more information there. Are there any other questions? I know also sometimes with the Q&A, you might need some more clarification after we answer. So I think we'll leave the question and answer up for a little bit longer if somebody has any follow-up questions based on those answers.
Yeah, and we'll be doing a follow up to this probably within 2 to 3 weeks to go over how to set up like the events once your domain is verified within Facebook Business Manager, just to sort of walk people through that process.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen it yet, I know Corey mentioned, we do have materials on our help center and FAQ page. Specifically, a really helpful one is just the overview of custom domains as well as the step-by-step how to get it added. That'll walk through a lot of the topics here, where you can actually access the request form inside of your Feature FM account, how you can actually set up the subdomains on your full domains once it's added. And as always, you can always reach out to client services or support or Corey as well with questions. So we have one more question that just came in. Is the 28-day remarketing limit in effect already? Sorry, probably more of a Facebook question. It is more of a Facebook question. It's their limitation. I believe it is in effect already. We have been getting sort of mixed feedback from my understanding that some of the limitations overall on these changes seem to have gone in for some accounts, but not other accounts. But I believe that the 28-day remarketing limit is already in effect. Yes.
It went into effect on January 19th. Here, I'll respond back to you with the answer from Facebook. Yeah, those changes went into effect before a lot of this stuff did, actually. And it sort of walks you through. If you check out this article, we can also include this in the follow up to this. But it'll actually show you sort of what types of campaigns are noted and what the attribution windows are for if you're running any type of ad set. There's a lot of detail here, so we won't go over it right now, but this would be the article to check out for that.
Great. I think that does it for the questions.
Okay. Well, like I said, we'll be doing a follow up to this just to sort of give everybody some time to get all their custom domains set up, to walk you through like how to set up the the conversion events, as well as just answering any other questions that show up, including how to organize the pixels for if you have like a multiple artist situation. But this one was just about sort of how to get it set up and what the changes mean and how they affect you. But yeah, thank you for coming. Dan, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, thanks everybody. We will be able to post this and circulate materials. And as I mentioned, please reach out with any questions or for help with setting up your domains and questions about how to best utilize your conversion events and remarketing data.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you soon.